We should now be live. Good evening, everybody. Let me just double check everything's working okay on OBS. Looks to be. Good. Hello everyone. Hello Smaug. Rob Earth is here. Kairu. Hello everybody. In chat, do say hello if you're popping in. I'm just going to give folks a quick minute or two just to swap over from Evo to here if that's what they're doing. How has everyone's weekend been? Just going to move the camera so people can see our progress so far. Catherine, weekend was great. How was yours? Mine's been pretty relaxed. I've just been mostly coping with the asthma issue, which is kind of gotten a bit bad at the moment. But, yeah, more or less has been okay. Finished editing a video yesterday, which the video will go live on November 13th. So I'm about 3 weeks ahead currently in terms of Triclaw videos, which is good because we're all expecting a Jurassic World Evolution 3 announcement, possibly November or December. So it's good to have, you know, a bit of backlog. You're currently in Italy, Smaug. I hope you're having a nice holiday and relaxing. The week's been okay, Rob. Glad to hear it. Hello, Berenson. Right, so back to our gambling park. And last time we were creating paddock number 12. Yes, paddock number 12. This was the drive-through park. We put in some Titanis terrorbirds here. And the other side we decided to focus on a mix of species, which we were going to do like a heavily forested environment, but we didn't get time to do the environmental stuff. I did some of the background environmental stuff around our new Mayan pyramid here with T-Rex on the top, and put in some stuff around the waterfalls, but there's still a lot of environmental decoration to go in here. But I thought we would start by deciding which our next square was going to be for this. So, you got bitten by a non-venomous snake. How do you know it's non-venomous? Yes, Kairu, thank you for pointing that out. I will have a chat to folks about that update in a second. We'll have a talk about that in a sec. But for now, let us... Oh, I need to go to OBS so I can make this internet thing bigger. Let's have a look and see what our next area is going to be. Area 4 I can do. I'm happy with 4. That's fine for me. Remove choice. Okay, this is a good choice because we can now decide what we're going to do with the areas, basically 4 and 3. Now I'm thinking... Let me get rid of that. So here was the thought. I'm going to just draw it in sand. We know that the path is going to come from this enclosure, is going to go down and around this back wall. So the path will basically be coming sort of like this, entering into paddock 5, which gives us this sort of corner area. You know, I'll double it in size because that's probably how it will turn out. And I was thinking we could try to use the amphibious mod bits to create a kind of amphibious area in here. Let's have a look. How big are these amphibious sections? I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Right, so let's just... I think there are 4 animals in it, but we could probably put more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if we had like an entrance to this area here, and then we could have like 1 amphib there, 1 amphib next to it, 1 amphib kind of up here, 1 kind of centrally, and then 1 at the back. Yeah, something a little bit like that. And then obviously we can put our roofing segments over the top of each one and build it up like that. So yeah, we can turn it into a fully amphibious exhibit. That was one idea I had for it. Alternatively, we could do something a little bit more conventional and just have like a sort of normal exhibit, but maybe try and give it some sort of decorative flair. Maybe use the monorail pieces to make it look like it's indoors. Or we could still use like the amphibious roofs and use like the cage pieces and create like a caged enclosure. What do people think? Like what's... And I'm just seeing if there's something else that we could do. Because we've got a lot of like, we've got dinosaurs and lagoon animals, such. So the amphibians I think would work well. We could also like try to do like a little river thing, have some bridges and stuff in here. I think for the bigger ones, use the chain link fences. That's true, because these sort of hexagonal enclosures, they are very, very small. But if people are okay with that plan, let's get building in. Now, just in order to ensure that this is correct, I'm going to cheat just a little bit and put in the path that's supposed to go down here, because otherwise it might not necessarily hook up correctly. So there's that. And it's basically there. Whoops. Please be straight. Looks straight. Okay, so let's put that bit there, and then we can go like that. I'm actually wondering, should we step the path away from the fence? Because obviously I don't want the people to just be walking along a concrete fence. It would be quite nice to have some trees or something there, just to make that a little less ugly. So let's actually change that slightly. Hello, Melissa. And And hello, Nicholas. So let's go with there to there. That to there. Okay, so that's a bit nicer. We've got like a little bit of a gap between the path and the fence. Because it's the same over here, isn't it? It's almost like a full... It's almost like a full one over. It's almost kind of there. Might have been a bit much. It might not be 100% perfect, but it'll do. There we go. Now, I want there to be a nice sort of path that goes through this section, so I'm going to let's do a nice little diagonal bit here. Like thus. Let's move these out of the way a little bit. Now, we have a few different paleo amphibious area pieces that we can make use of here. So I'm just going to put them all down at the moment. Just put a few pieces down. Just so I can have a look, basically. Right, so we've got the wall sections, the plain wood sections. We've got our nice little statue, nice little. We've got 3, 4 signs. We've got the big sign. The entrance gazebo. I'm sure there's another sign as well. Like a warning sign about not like bashing the glass or anything like that. Oh, we've also got to make use of like the dead trees and stuff. Maybe it's higher up. No. Okay, a little bit puzzled. I'm sure there was another sign. Oh, maybe there wasn't. I think it's part. Oh, it's part of this. It's part of that one. Whoops. Duh. Right. So let's rotate this slightly. I think having it roughly center is fine. About there. And I quite like the idea of using these big side panel pieces. They're like... Let's not have them straight there. Let's kind of set them off. That way we can do some like environmental stuff. This enclosure may take a little bit of time to build, so this might be a little bit of a slower pace stream. I do apologize, but you know, not every stream can be as action-packed as the Isle. I think we need a couple more. Did anyone see the paper published about pterosaur movement? I haven't had the opportunity to read that yet. I do want to, because obviously I've got to think about my next 10 things you might not know about video, which might be on a pterosaur. There we go. Excellent. I quite like this statue boy to be the one that's kind of guarding the entrance. I think we do need to put something in here. So I'm thinking the wall pieces. 1, 2, and 1. For the moment, 2. Ceraduck, no, so it won't be about... I'm trying to go kind of roughly alphabetical. So the next animal... what did I do last time? Elasmosaurus was last time. So it will be... sort of G, H, or I. It'll be one of those 3. I'm trying to go roughly alphabetical through it. Thank you, Catherine. I know it can be a little bit sluggish, but given that this will probably be the last park I make before Jurassic World Evolution 3, depending on when it comes out, of course, I do want to kind of take my time a little bit with this one. Okay, so let's put a nice flower planter there, and a nice flower planter there. How thick are these? How thick is this? It's going to be the easiest way of doing this. There we go. And I think we'll have our first amphibian basically here. Then we can do medium path. Around the outside. The hardest thing is going to be getting the path to line up and play nice. Maybe it's a better idea put them in and then put that in And then just go straight down. Yes, there we go. Sometimes to get things right, you do have to kind of build that. Oh, you word beginning with B. Word beginning with B. There we are. Are you going to mod Jurassic World Evolution 3 straight away, even if it's all you ever hoped for? Okay, well, Smaug. Number one, for it to be all I'd ever hoped for, Frontier would have to completely overhaul its current way of thinking, which I do not believe they would do. Secondly, no. I'm not even convinced I'm going to buy Jurassic World Evolution 3 yet. Even though a lot of people would say, oh, well, you should buy it because of content. I cannot condone buying it if I don't think it's worth purchasing. You know, I could buy it and then say to you guys, it's rubbish, don't buy it yet. But I've already given them my money at that point, so what's the point? I feel it's my responsibility to vote with my wallet, which is what I tell other people to do. And if I don't think it's worth buying, I'm not going to buy it. And I will tell, I'll tell you guys, I'm not buying Jurassic World Evolution 3 because I don't think it's good enough yet. Unlike this game, where they basically got a free pass, Frontier burned that bridge, so they no longer get a free pass with me, at least. That's my position on it. Even if that means I miss out on content, I don't care. In my opinion, I tell other people to vote with their wallets. If I don't do that myself, then I'm just a hypocrite, aren't I? Okay, I think for this first enclosure, I don't think we'll use one of the amphibian. Actually, we will. We'll use an amphibious species. We'll use the Diploculus for this one. So they're coming in here. This is the entrance, and then they can go left or right. And then I think what we should do is like have two areas at the sides where they're kind of like sitting, getting the details for it. No, just... I really hate the delete tool for the path. Why can you not just delete the path? Even if you just delete the path with the mass deletion tool, it still deletes the path. It still deletes the object. I'm like, why? Just delete what I'm telling you to delete, for heaven's sake. Right. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like have a small area. Okay. I'm trying to think about how I want the path to go. Because I also want to try to make like a little bridge in here. So I'm thinking the path up this way is the one that goes around the rest. This one will be a dead end. It just dead ends here. And then the water can kind of go like from here. Yeah, so this is the dead end area. Not in that path colour though. And of course you're going to tell me to delete it again, aren't you? It's one of the, you know, the main issues with a lot of these mods is they are awfully finicky at times to make work. I know it should be that colour, shouldn't it? All of the path in here is going to be that colour. Ah, you idiot. Obviously, I'm a bit tired today. The whole thing is going to be that colour. There we go. Okay. Not quite 100% straight, is it? That's better. I wish this game had an undo button. Seriously. It's like the biggest thing it needs. The daily fight with mods. This game is wonderful with mods, but at the same time it can be a right ball ache at times to make them work correctly. But I fear a lot of the problem with like mods being awkward to use is again entirely down to how Jurassic World Evolution itself works. Like there are so many like little annoyances with the game. Okie dokie. That's a bit better. I don't understand why the Jurassic World Evolution games don't either. This is running on the same engine as Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster, so it's not an engine limitation. I do suspect, perhaps, that it's something to do with the dinosaurs escaping. I suspect that there's no undo button because they want to ensure that you can't undo the dinosaurs breaking free. Just a thought. Because after all, these games are kind of heavily reliant on the dinosaurs escaping as engineered action. So that could be the reason. Now then. We are, I fear, going to run into a problem. Yes, I thought that might be it. Because technically, even though I flattened everything, it technically wasn't flat. I also want to make sure that there is land for the Diploculus. I'm fine leaving this. Slightly... just ever so slightly lower. Just because I think it's going to make it easier to build all of this area. The river we'll use the placeable deep water for, so that we can actually like have a genuine river and like bridge and stuff. Right. Let's put in our muddy texture for the Diploculus. Gonna make the water sandy. And yeah, right. So one of the problems with this amphibious enclosure idea, I love it. I absolutely adore this mod. But I think one of the biggest problems it has is the size of the actual amphibious enclosure itself. I think it's just a little too small. It needs to be about double the size for it to be really useful. It's good as is. Don't get me wrong. However, it is just a bit too small. And it makes placing everything in here a bit of a difficulty. The fact that Legion didn't even get picked out as a finalist for Battle of the Builders is absurd. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the quality, you know, what I will say about, obviously, Battle of the Builders is Evo's thing. It's, us moderators have nothing to do with it, so... And you really shouldn't be talking about it here, Smaug, but what I will say is the competition this year was extraordinarily high. There, unlike loads of other Battle of the Builders, this year's entrance, there were some fantastic ones in there. And, you know, I do not envy Evo for the task that she had to do, like trying to create a short list from the options that she had. I mean, there were so many fantastic parks. And I think that's what you've got to remember. Like when you've got such fantastic build quality, then the parks themselves have to be overwhelmingly great. Legions was all right, but there were some things that I think could be improved. And that's why I think Evo didn't put him forwards. Just because his park was okay, but it was nowhere near as good as the others. How? I'm just looking at these trees. Like, how? Because that's the height of... What's the height of this actual, like, building that goes on top? Oh, I see. I wish he had included some, like, extra roofing pieces so that we could, like, 100% enclose this, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. I would like there to be some motion in here because, again, I think that the enclosure is too flat otherwise. So let's get a little fountain, not fan, fountain. And I'm thinking... Whoopsie daisy, wrong button. Also, I'm aware I'm not paying attention to chat very much at the moment. I apologize. Just wanted to get, like, these main bits in. Okay. Let me just catch up on chat while I have a quick drink. Where is my water? There it is. Yes, I have particular thoughts about both Chaos Theory and the campaign. Not much Jurassic Jaws. We've just made a start on the amphibious enclosure area. Yeah, Chaos Theory, I would largely consider a wasted component of Jurassic World Evolution 2. Badly wasted, in fact. Primarily, in my opinion, because they could have done anything, right? And the options they came up with were the most boring, predictable options. Kind of feel like this stand needs to be in something. Where's the rocky? There it is. Oh, that's so big. Oh, they really have got to work on scaling in the next game. I feel like every single object in this game is about double the size it needs to be. If you look at, like, the size of the average person, like, everything is just so oversized. Let's have some flowers in here. That looks nice, I think. Right. Before I put any trees or anything like that in, let's go get our Diploculus. We are going to save, and we are going to save on dice map. And we are going to overwrite dice map, and we are going to go, yes. I am so flipping scared of deleting parks. Well, let's bring up Notepad so we can make a note of these. I will name some creatures, Berenson, but currently, in my opinion, I think we've named the ones I would be wanting to name. Unless people want to specifically put their names to a specific species, in which case, let me know. Let's actually, since there's quite a few people in chat, and also quick reminder to like the chat, like the stream and stuff. It does help. Since we are, there's quite a few people here. Let's discuss chaos theory. I'm curious to know how many people have played all of the chaos theory maps. And by played, I mean 100%ed all of the maps in the chaos theory mode. Slightly Quib has completed them. Smaug has. Sarcastic hasn't. I played all of them, but once I was done, I left it. Okay. What were people's general opinion? Which is the best one of the chaos theories? Because I know which mine is. Which do people think was the best one? Ooh, I like that. San Diego. Fallen Kingdom, San Diego. Yeah, my favorite was San Diego too. Because it was the only one that felt like it was not just repetitive park building gameplay. The Jurassic Park 3 Chaos Theory, I thought was a complete joke. In fact, I thought it was an insult, frankly. The Fallen Kingdom one, I didn't see the point of it. And the rest are just the standard build-a-park gameplay. I'm struggling to come up with a skin I like for these guys. I want it to be noticeable. What do people think about that? For the males, I'm talking about here. JP3 literally broke for me. Dominions I never bothered with because I absolutely hated everything about everything they did for Dominion. I did a massive long video quite a while ago now, but bigging up old content, where I basically remade all of the Chaos Theory maps and also remade how the entire Chaos Theory element of the game worked. So you got a lot more rewards for it. There were some very specific things you could only unlock in it. But the principle was also to try to give you, control. So, the Jurassic Park 1 Chaos Theory, for example, took elements of the Return to Jurassic Park DLC from the first game, basically gave you the park post, total accident, made you build it all back up, make it run, etc., and then you could proceed down two different routes. You could either focus on pterosaurs or focus on mosasaurs, and then you'd get either the Tylosaurus for the park or the Pteranodon for the park, but you would have to choose which route you go down. And you would have different unlocks based on what you would get. But, you know, my principal problem with Chaos Theory was just that it was boring. You know, I know this is a park builder game, and so it's difficult to create unique types of gameplay, but I feel like they came up with the most boring ideas for every one of them. And the problem is, it just felt like playing challenge mode. It didn't feel like there was much of a purpose to Chaos Theory, especially when, once you get past Jurassic Park, you're not really building it with any characters you're interested in. At least it was for me. I have no particular like of the Jurassic World trilogy characters, so I couldn't give two shits about them. I wanted to see Sarah Harding come back, and I wanted to see Roland Tembo come back and Peter Ludlow come back. I didn't want to see fucking the invented characters for it. I wanted to see the characters from the films. You know, if you're... The whole point of the Chaos Theory mode was to milk our nostalgia, and they did a really boring job of it. I want the females to have some colour, but not too bright. Let's go for, like, they've got a little pattern there. Like, maybe if we... Pelophylax works well, because it's kind of a lighter coloration. So, mangrove forest and Pelophylax for the females. Right, back to the park. Chaos Theory should have been the campaign. Quite possibly. You know, then the campaign could have just been the tutorial. But then I suspect that was always going to be the tutorial. I suspect that the campaign that came with the base map was always going to be the game's tutorial. And the late release of Dominion caused by COVID is what forced them to release that as the campaign. Lily Halford as a character was unnecessary. Totally agree, Kyrie. Sarah Harding was a really great character. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Sarah Harding return to the franchise. In some way. It would be really nice. It's easy to come up with fun levels for the movies in different types of game, but Jurassic World Evolution 2's format wouldn't have worked with a lot of my ideas. Yes, but I think you can do more with a park building game than just, say, build Jurassic Park or build Jurassic World. I feel with a park builder, you need to expand on the gameplay elements that are within there. So, for example, in my idea for the Lost World, the San Diego one, the ending of the San Diego one is either the Raptors or the T-Rex, whichever, because again, you get to choose one or the either. The Raptors or the T-Rex escapes from the park and starts heading towards San Diego, and you have to grab the Jeep or a chopper and go and stop it. It would be like one of those predefined kind of scripted sequences that we had in, I think it was the second campaign level, that I wish they had done more of. You know, there are things you can do with the stuff that is here to add some oomph to the gameplay. I don't know how big these guys are. Let's use dinosaur spawner. Such a useful tool, this. Let's go find a thing. So, Diplodocus is about that big. So I reckon in here, sprechen de Deutsch, I reckon 4. 4 of these animals is how many I want to go. So we'll go 2 males and 2 females. Yeah, Kairu, that was literally my plan for my idea for the chaos theory for Jurassic Park 3. It was going to, at this point I might as well just put it bloody well on. But my idea was that the Jurassic Park 3 chaos theory mode is split into 2 different time periods. You start prior to the events of Jurassic Park. You start in 1991, and you start building the initial facilities to clone the animals with Wu and that lot. And the unique gameplay element was that you had to successfully clone a living example of each of the Jurassic Park species. However, you had to manually fill in the gaps in the DNA sequence yourself with a range of animal genetics materials, but you don't know what the material is going to do. So it's kind of like a kind of a risky sort of hybridization where the animal could end up just dying, or could end up super violent or sickly or not grow. You don't know until you've had a go. What do you mean? Obstructed. Hang on, I think I'm going to have to move some stuff out of this. Let's try that again. So the other thing that is a bit iffy about these enclosures is that it's very tricky to get the animals in from airlift. And I know you could do it without airlift, but the problem is you can't really tell what skin you're going to have. Right, there's 2. Yeah, so as I was saying, so that was like the first part. And then the second part is you returning with Dr. Wu some point between the events of Jurassic Park 2 and 3. You create the Jurassic Park 3 raptors and the Spinosaurus. And I know it's slightly controversial, but the sort of unique element to my take on Jurassic Park 3's chaos theory is that you create the Spinosaurus by combining Spinosaurus DNA with several other animals, revealing that the Spinosaurus is a hybrid as per the Amalgam Project, which, you know, the Amalgam Project is canon. The argument is whether the Spinosaurus is a hybrid or not. My Jurassic Park 3 chaos theory would say that it explains it in that Dr. Wu doesn't consider the Spinosaurus a true hybrid because it's trying to recreate an actual animal that existed as opposed to trying to create a totally new animal. So that's how I would kind of get around the people that don't like calling Spinosaurus a hybrid. Dr. Wu doesn't think it is, even though it technically is. But because it's a real animal that really existed, his opinion is that it isn't. But yeah, that's what I would have done for the Jurassic Park 3 chaos theory. Yes, so one of the rewards for completing the Jurassic Park 3 chaos theory mode, in my view, was a model variant with which, so it's the Jurassic Park 3 coloration on a accurate Spinosaurus design. That would have been one of the rewards you get for completing that scenario. Come on, let me put the last one in here somewhere. I don't know why it has so much trouble. I'm just gonna have to wait, aren't I? Hello, One Chuff Frog. I have no intention of watching the Chaos Theory show, so I agree, Catherine. I mean, in my opinion, it makes more sense as a hybrid than it does as a Spino. There we go. Last one in. The chatter suggested to name a Titanis after you, Berenzen. Okay, well, towards the end of the stream, I'll go and name a Titanis Berenzen. Do it next stream so LolP can see. Okay. I do also think that the Fallen Kingdom Chaos Theory was just rubbish. Utterly rubbish. Just basically a trank these dinosaurs and then delete the park thing. Or move these dinosaurs, delete the park. Like, what the heck is the point of that? There we go. The Diploculus are in. Shall we go and have a look at... They're kind of cute in a weird, horrible way. Okay. So, before I put in anything else, I want to kind of put in the river. Because that's going to be like a really big feature. And kind of get a rough positioning for these elements. Something a bit like that. So... have it go, what, this way? No, have it go this way. Then up, then around, and then up. Into here. Right. This is going to be awkward. Where are we going to put the bridge, though? Okay. Let's not use these as defining things. Let's put this bit in first. So definitely have it start here. Come around here. Up this way. Maybe this way. Maybe this way, come around the back. And join up there. Then we could maybe have like one in the middle-ish. One at the back. One down here, which is fine. And then still have one up here. Okay. Some creatures need a redesign urgently. I mean, my biggest bugbear is the hadrosaurs not walking on 4 legs and the pterosaurs not walking. If they sort out those issues, I'll be reasonably happy. As happy as I can be. You know, I am known for being exceptionally hard to please. Okay. Bridge. Bridge, 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 bridge. Interesting. Let's put bridge here. Bridge in place. I think that works. Sorry, I am trying to keep up with chat, but I am also trying to do the part. There are a lot of interesting, like, directly opposed opinions about the next game. Like, there's a lot of people who want Cenozoic animals to definitely be in the next game. There's a few people who don't want them to be in the next game at all, and there's some people who don't really care. There are some people that want, you know, really, really want the baby dinosaurs. There's others that don't. You know, I'm definitely a not guy. There's a lot of very differing opinions about this game, which I suppose in a way I feel sorry to Frontier for, because, you know, it must be very difficult for them to try to appeal to everyone and what everybody wants. I certainly don't envy their position, let's just put it like that. Okay, I think this area is looking good here. Let's just shift over everything a little bit. So, I want there to be an enclosure here. But what I'm thinking is not necessarily using the glass for it. I'm thinking this one will use the cage pieces, because I quite like it. Well, actually, what other species do we have here? Hang on. What other ones do we have here? The Ichthyostega, the Plathystrix, and it's this one. This is the big, like, carnivore guy. Let me just, like, turn its flipping thing so I can... Oops. So I can... It's Y, isn't it? It's Y to turn stuff. So I can actually see the bloody thing. It's this guy. The Anthracosaurus, which is like the big carnivore. I feel like he really needs to have like a caged enclosure rather than one of these glass ones. So I was thinking about like maybe having a glass, because really the only place to have the caged enclosure is here. So we could have Anthracosaurus here and give him like a proper caged enclosure. Thank you, Melissa. Every little helps. I prefer Frontier to focus on the semi-aquatic roster and improve the dinosaurs even further to make them look more unique to each other. Yeah, I think there's so many different opinions on like how to improve for Jurassic World Evolution 3. I am curious though. Let's have a question here. If you could add just one animal, so, you know, ignoring everything else, ignoring gameplay changes or anything like that, if you could only add a singular animal, which animal would you be adding and why? And assume, let's make it a little tougher, assume that there will be no changes to like major systems. So Deep water isn't a thing, anything like that. Baby dinosaurs are not a thing. Basically, the game is almost what it is now. What singular species are you adding? Kairu says Platysaurus because we need the prosauropods. Arthroplura. How would you make Arthroplura work if... You know, I love Arthroplura, slightly stupid, but how would you make it... How would you make Arthroplura work with the game as it stands in Jurassic World Evolution 2? Like, where would you be putting Arthroplura? Because I know how I would do it. It's a bit of a weird way, but I know how I would. Alaxosaurus, I want my mini theory. Cyats. Prosauropods. Probably Deinosuchus. Maybe aviary only. That's how I would do it, slightly stupid. I would make the Arthroplura an aviary animal. In fact, I would like have a bunch of if I was to do like a mini a creepy crawly DLC with like a range of creepy crawlies, I would utilize the aviaries and just have them as de facto biodomes without the necessary need to add a whole new gameplay system. Ooh, that's going to be tight to fit that. But it just about fits. How much space over here could we have for path? Actually, not a bad amount. Okay, we could definitely have another bridge in here. Ah. Smaller bridge? Smaller bridge works. It's not 100% perfect, but there are tolerances here, as I'm very fond of saying. Actually want to shift that actually ever so slightly this way and turn it. God damn it. That's better. Yep. Okay. This is looking good, actually. Yeah, I would love to have Meganura in the park. Does anyone have really strangely specific things they want added to Jurassic World Evolution 3? For me, it would be allowing the meat feeder in the aviary. So I'm going to do a video, actually, at some point reasonably soon, Sarcastic, about, like, what things Jurassic World Evolution 3 has to have to make me buy it. Like, absolutely 100% must have it. Bridges and tunnels. Fucking bridges and tunnels. Look at what we've just done here. Like, how much option do bridges and tunnels give you for designing areas of the park when you have them? There is no reason in 2024 or 2025 that the path should be grounded to the terrain. There is absolutely no reason for it. Every single other park and city builder game, City Skylines, Zoo Tycoon 2, all of the other games, you can build paths, roads at elevations or as tunnels. Absolutely no excuse for it in the next game. If they do not do it, I won't be buying it. I mean, I call it strangely specific because of my insistence that if they don't do it, I won't buy the game. Lagoon customization is one again. Also, I'm glad you liked that video. It was what got me onto Reddit, actually. Now I wish I didn't, because I've discovered that the Reddit community for this game is very challenging, shall we say. They are very challenging people. I'm trying my best to be nice. Actually, I think I've got a waterfall piece that would fit in there quite well. Why is breeding so important? Well, I can tell you why some people are arguing it's necessary to have, and it's all because of this faintly delusional idea that Site B mode was a good thing. Site B mode primarily was a gameplay feature that came with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. And the idea was that you didn't have to build a park. You just plonked down your dinosaurs, made sure they had a food source, and just watched them live. And there is I believe the problem is that there is a faint nostalgic love of that game mode, even though that game mode was, and I can assure you, having played Jurassic Park Operation Genesis as much as I did, it was rubbish. Do you want to know what actually Site B mode was? And obviously this isn't confirmable, but I suspect I know what Site B mode was. I believe Site B mode was the debug map. I believe it was there to test the animals and the behavior. And then they decided, we'll put it into the game as like this special unlockable thing, just as a bit of extra content. That's what I think the Site B map always was. I think it was the dinosaur debug map, which they just added in. Because the dinosaurs just do their behaviors. That's all they do. And considering the rest of the game, I don't think that they, having seen what the rest of the game is like, I don't think that they would have put in all this effort and then made Site B as bad as it was. The thing about adding dinosaur breeding, as I discussed in my hot takes video on the subject, is I don't necessarily have anything for or against it. My problem is I don't believe Frontier will do it properly. My issue isn't with the actual subject of dinosaur breeding, it's Frontier's interpretation of what that should look like. Because, let's be honest, what are people's opinions of the territory system? I think most of us think that it was a good idea, implemented badly. And I think you could say that about pretty much 90% of the features in these Frontier games. The territory system is a good idea that was then implemented in a very bad way. Oh, that's interesting. That turned out to be shorter than I thought. Okay. All of the babies are going to be low-resolution versions of their parents. Yeah, I certainly don't believe that there'll be a brilliant gameplay edition like everyone seems to think that it will be. One of the biggest problems everyone has at the moment is keeping the correct number of dinosaurs in the enclosures. Do you really want that job to be even harder? That's my view. Why would you make that element harder to achieve? One of my biggest issues with the Jurassic World Evolution community is people's unwavering belief that Frontier will somehow magically change its reputation for being quite a bad game developer overnight. They have so much faith in Frontier. It's kind of like the people who are massive fanboys for Bethesda. It's like they think the company cannot go do anything wrong. Like, when I criticised Jurassic World Evolution 1, the amount of hate I got was ridiculous. There were such massive fanboys when it comes to Frontier. And I think it's one of the biggest problems, actually. Like, if Frontier had more critics, especially in the content creator area, I think they would be more likely to change what they do, but they don't, because the content creators are not as critical as I am. And I personally don't think I'm overly critical. Not when a lot of the things I'm requesting are such basic gameplay features. I don't think it's unfair to expect flippin' bridges. Just my opinion. The same hate will repeat with Jurassic World Evolution 3. Oh, for sure. Especially if I don't buy it and then make a video on why. I will get so much hatred from people. You know the most annoying thing I remember being told when Jurassic World Evolution 1 came out and I was critical of it was the people that say, it's only a game, why can't you just have fun? Why do you have to point out the flaws? Why can't you just enjoy what it is? And that really pisses the fuck out of me when people say that. I hate the idea that you cannot criticize something and you should just have fun with it. Fuck off, frankly. Just get stuffed if you have that perspective of life, that you can't criticize anything and you should just have fun with it. That's why the game industry is in such a shit state, is because people having that opinion and not pressuring through, you know, the power of their wallets to actually make changes happen. The reason why microtransactions are in like every single flipping game now is because people let it happen. So no, I will not just enjoy something that I think is wrong. Anyway, sorry for the rant. My voice is going a bit. Bye, Smaug. Oh yeah. And then, of course, the other thing I get is people who then turn around and go, well, if you don't like the game, don't play it. Well, that's the thing. I have never once said I don't like Jurassic World Evolution 2. I never said that. I actually think sometimes it is quite an enjoyable game. There are certainly some things that I think it does better than, say, Prehistoric Kingdom. But at the same time, things only get good if you point out the flaws with them. And if I want Jurassic World Evolution 2 to be even better, or Jurassic World Evolution 3 to be even better, then those criticisms have to be pointed out. Otherwise, it will just never get better. Right. I already know which animal is going in here. Dice map. Saving. Yes. Let's go get the next animal. I heavily enjoyed Jurassic World Evolution 2, but I wonder if I would enjoy it as much as I do if we had other alternatives other than Planet a Prehistoric Kingdom. This, I think, is why Frontier escapes criticism. And again, I think it's very similar to Bethesda. We were okay putting up with Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4's and Fallout 76's jankiness, because Bethesda were pretty much the only people... Thank you, Catherine. Bethesda were pretty much the only people doing what Bethesda were doing with those titles like Skyrim and the rest. But since we had Cyberpunk 2077 and Baldur's Gate 3 and The Witcher 3, it's shown that what Bethesda is best known for can be done better than other people. And worse still, Bethesda has made the thing worse with Fallout 76 and Starfield being so last generation, to use a term, that they're behind the curve. And I think we've got this with Frontier. If you want a good park building game, you have to go to Frontier. No one else does them, really. Until we get a proper competitor, Frontier can kind of coast. Isla Sodor Jurassic Jaws was my small species park, which I believe there's a tour coming out. Or is it already out? I think it's already out. It came out this week. The Isla Sodor tour, I think. Oh, I'm going to have to switch to Piscivore to find this guy. We are going to use this guy. Platyhystrix, which I think is a kind of adorable and kind of weird. So, let's have a look here. Most of these, I think, are variations of green. If there's something I remember about this mod, is that the skins were kind of naff. Let's go with quite a vivid green for the males, and we'll give the males... I think we'll give the males the red spots, because I think the reds work the best. So males are Salar del Hoasco and Papurana. And females, we're going to knock the colour back. And almost completely remove colour from the set. We'll have a little bit of colour, but not much. So we'll go with the... yeah, we'll go with like the green spots. So this is Death Valley and Rana. Would it be controversial to say that I would prefer real flying, swimming reptiles in Prehistoric Kingdom than fighting and hunting? No, because I think... I need to figure out how to actually say this without coming across rude. Let's use a metaphor here so I can get around saying it in a rude way. When I was a kid and I had my dinosaur models, what would I do with them? I would make them fight each other, obviously, and smash stuff up and kill people and kill each other and everything else. Now that I'm an adult, I want to watch my dinosaurs live, exist. I want to, one of the nicest things I've seen recently, dinosaur content-wise, is prehistoric kingdom Spinosaurus just wallowing around in the water. I could watch those things wallowing about for hours, perfectly happy. And that is my less rude way of saying that dinosaur kaiju violence is a less mature aspect of dinosaur content. I'm trying really hard not to be mean. Because I know what my brain is screaming at me to say as well. My brain's going like, you know what you want to say, really. You know what you want to say. I think it's very age dependent. Clipto is like, say it. No, because, I know that there are people of a certain age group in chat as well. And I don't want to make anyone feel bad. And, I do understand their position. Dinosaurs are violent animals. One of my biggest criticisms of Prehistoric Planet, one of the few I had, was that they almost tried to censor the violence. They removed too much of the aggression, removed too much of the blood. It was all kind of a bit medical, which I feel is not necessarily a representative of how these animals lived. Walking with Dinosaurs was not scared to show us a Utahraptor eating inside the carcass of an iguanodon from inside the iguanodon's body. Prehistoric Planet, on the other hand, hid the killing of a bird behind a rock. Is one more family friendly than the other one? Of course it is. However, I think it creates a very demented perception of what was their natural world, which I find a bit bizarre, because if you watch a lot of other David Attenborough documentaries where he goes to like Africa and watches the wild dogs or the lions, you'll see plenty of blood and guts in them. But for Prehistoric Planet, they just didn't do it. I have a feeling I know why, again. I think it's because they were not using animatronics. It was primarily CGI. CGI, blood, liquids, etc. It's a pain in the ass. So I can understand, and if you watch the Walking with Dinosaurs scene I just quoted, it's a physical model and a Utahraptor animatronic on an arm. It's a lot easier to do those sorts of shots with something like that. I fully accept that. But there are ways of doing it. The thing, and but I have always felt that the Jurassic World films have focused too heavily on the dinosaur combat. You know, there was a wonderful response to a Reddit post I had where someone said, the dinosaur combat is the only reason I play Jurassic World Evolution 2. And I was like, that right there is the problem. They really shouldn't be playing a park builder if that's what they want. And I think Frontier... I said this in my hot takes video about remembering it's a park builder. Frontier has got to remember that it's a park building game. Yes, a certain part of the community is going to want to have their death arenas and stuff. But I don't think it's what a vast majority of the player base play the game for. You know. Yeah, the Edmontosaurus attack gel was like one of the best scenes, but again, it was still... Did you notice it was still slightly censored in the fact that because they were doing it at night, obviously they could decolor everything. So the blood wasn't red, was it? It was just dark. So even that fight was still slightly censored. There we go. Last one in. Good. Feel this enclosure again needs some movement in. Do we have... How big is this mine fountain? How big is the Genesis? I really do wish we had some more options for fountains. That's okay. As long as it's not too personal, Melissa, sure. Oh, did we just have a little bit of a hiccup? A few missed frames there. It's probably Frontier trying to silence my criticism. I joke, obviously. They're adorable. I do hope they can get to the food. I kind of want to see one of them eat so I can make sure that they can actually eat from this. I think they're all having trouble. Let's put it a little over there. Yeah, look, I think they're all trying to get to it. I think they were having a problem. That one keeps trying to escape. Ah. Yeah, he just ate. So they can't eat. Why are you not eating? You really do need to eat. They're all eating apart from this guy. Who also isn't, like, getting water either. He's having trouble, bless him. Drinking water. Drinking water. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they're all okay. Good. Just making sure of it. You fell off your bed and sprained your ankle. Ooh, sounds painful, Melissa. This is what Frontier needs for small species, or something like it. I don't think it's too difficult to do something like this. Now, obviously, we only have 4 amphibious species. But we're going to put a cage here. For the anthro. So I know what that means. So what should we do in this one at the very back here? Because the ichthyostega can go here. What could we do in the back row here? Is there another animal that we could put in this Paleozoic swamp? It looks so good. But I'm going to leave it off for the moment because I've got to do all the design decoration. Are there any other options that feel aquatic that are this small? Probably not. Let's go and have a look. Let's, in the last few minutes, let's go have a goosey. Yes, Berenson, but one of them's going to be in a cage instead of in the thingy-majig. I think Crichtonsaurus might be a tad large. I think we are going to need to restrict it to something that's kind of small. You know, funny enough, the Janabio might work. Nah, even the Janabia is a bit big. How big is that? It's like two squares. And that's a bit over. It's a bit over 2 squares. The Janbia may fit actually. I mean, we could always do an actual dinosaur like the compies. We could do Listro. We could put. I know I said I use Megalania too much, but we could use Megalania. Would kind of fit in with all the other animals. I think Megalania is our best bet. Let's actually go back to the park and see how big it is inside one of those. Let's not load back into the dice map. Let's go into the mod testing map. And we'll just plonk down our possibilities and see which one we think looks best. Well, that's what we're going to check, Cairo. I should probably do like a new species check on Nexus and see if there's some that I've kind of missed that might be good to have. But there's so many... There's so many that are just kind of a bit naff. Anyway, welcome to my mod testing map. Right, let's go down to our terrestrial area, because it's the one with the emptiest of space. Let's grab our... So, 1 and 2. Now let's use the spawner. So, Megalania. Okay, so look, Megalania would, I think, we're looking at a definite. Where's our anthro thingamajiggy? There he is. So Megalania is about the same size. And looks... I have to say, we just like compare them. Stop scratching yourself. I think if we compare how the Megalania looks and the Anthro, they look very similar, don't they? I think I have a suspicion. Where's camera mode? Whoops. I have the suspicion that one was created from the other. I mean, we could definitely use them both, and they would be okay. It's just a bit funny thinking we're going to put these guys in a cage, and the Megalania is going to go in here. The thing is, I don't think there's any other animals I've got installed. Oh, actually, we were going to check out Anjaba, weren't we? Anjaba is a weird one, because it's... You know, these guys would work too. They just, you know, they just obviously don't have the same sort of old-fashioned locomotion sort of styling to them. I know, it's way too big. I'm just seeing if we've got any other modded animals that might also work. way too big. That would just be cruel. I mean, Dimetrodon would work. Lehavenator would work. Lehavenator is, you know, about the same sort of length, about the same sort of size. Is a modded animal. Would work quite well. Even Titanus would work in there. Pterosaurs unfortunately don't work. Way too big. I think we've got yeah, Dimetrodon would suit the Paleozoic aesthetic for sure. I think what I'm going to do is, before the next stream of this park, which is probably going to be next Sunday, we'll do something different on Friday. But next Sunday, when I do this park again, or it might be Friday, we'll see. But whenever I do it again, or between now and then, I might have a look on Nexus, see if I can find a new species mod that introduces an animal that suits the aesthetics nicely. If I can't find one, we'll probably use... We'll have a vote next. If I can't find one, we'll have a vote between Megalania, Anjaba, and Lehavenator to decide which goes in that last spot. Dinosaurs would be 2 gram. Yeah, definitely 2 gram. I wish we had Edaphosaurus. Or any giant insects. The giant insects would work so well. Oh yes, good point, Jurassic Jaws. We have come up to 11 o'clock here, which is end of stream time. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we've had quite a busy stream, so thank you, people. I do like having plenty of people in to talk to and chat to, and share ideas and things with. Like I say, next week the same usual streams. Fallout will not be here on Wednesday, will he? I just remembered that. So Wednesday, I'm thinking I might do like a talkie stream with people. Figure out something to do. Might do like a 10 rating the animal, 10-star rating animals or whatever. And yes, and we'll be back on this park probably Friday, and then Sunday I'm thinking I might play something different. So, yeah, I will see you guys next week. Next week's video is all ready to go, and because it's the end of the month, it is the mod review video. So if you are a modder, do check that out. And yeah, I hope I've given folks some ideas and some entertainment. And yeah, so wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and stay safe, and good night.